In a small, remote village in the heart of West Africa, there stood a legendary baobab tree, ancient and towering, its twisted branches clawing at the sky. The villagers of Ndik had long feared this tree, for it was said to house the spirits of the forgotten dead, the restless souls who had never found peace. Only the elders remembered the tree's true story, but few dared speak of it aloud. They called it Nkuru Yara, the cursed baobab. Every night, as the sun set and the winds howled through the savannah, the baobab would whisper. It was a low, haunting sound, like the soft cries of a person in agony, though no one could say where the voices came from. Some claimed it was the wind, but others knew better. Those whispers had once driven men to madness. One day, a young woman named Amina, who had lost her parents to a mysterious illness years before, decided to confront the fear that gripped her village. Amina had always felt a strange connection to the baobab, as though the whispers were calling out to her specifically. She was brave, curious, and tired of living in the shadow of the curse. The village had just finished its harvest festival when Amina made her decision. Armed with nothing but a small knife and her resolve, she waited until nightfall and approached the cursed baobab. The air was thick and oppressive, and the usual night sounds of crickets and frogs had fallen eerily silent. As Amina neared the tree, the whispers grew louder, forming disjointed words in a language she didn't understand. It felt as though the air around her was alive, pushing against her, urging her to turn back. But she pressed on, determined to find the source of the voices. When she reached the base of the tree, she saw something strange. An opening in the trunk, wide enough for a person to crawl through. No one had ever mentioned this before. Trembling, but resolute, Amina stepped inside. Inside the hollow of the baobab, it was cold and damp. The walls were slick with moisture, and the scent of decay filled the air. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she noticed something horrifying. Human bones strewn about the ground, half buried in the dirt. The whispers intensified, now clear and almost intelligible, like voices just on the edge of understanding. Suddenly, she felt a presence. The air grew colder, and Amina could feel eyes watching her, though she saw no one. Then from the shadows, a figure began to emerge, a tall, gaunt woman with hollow eyes and skin as pale as death. The woman's mouth opened, but the whispers came not from her but from all around, as though the tree itself was speaking through her. "I am Nyarima," the woman said, her voice a rasp. "The forgotten, the forsaken, the betrayed." Amina's heart pounded. She had heard the name Nyarima before, in stories, the village witch who had once been cast out by her own people centuries ago. She was blamed for a great famine and was left to die in the wilderness, her body never found. The elders whispered that Nyarima had cursed the village with her dying breath. "Why are you here?" Amina asked, her voice trembling. Nyarima's hollow eyes seemed to look through her. "I seek justice. The souls of the forgotten cry out. They have been bound to this tree, trapped by the betrayal of the living. And now the curse must be fulfilled." Amina felt a chill run down her spine. "What must I do?" "Free them," Nyarima hissed. "Take this knife and carve their names into the heart of the tree. Only then will they be released and the curse lifted." Amina hesitated, but knew there was no other choice. The village had suffered too long under the weight of the curse, and she had to end it. She gripped her knife tightly and began to carve, each name revealing itself to her as though whispered directly into her mind. As she carved, the whispers grew louder, more frantic, until they reached a deafening crescendo. The ground beneath her shook, and the walls of the tree groaned as though alive. But she kept carving, tears streaming down her face until the final name was etched into the wood. With a final earth-shaking crack, the baobab split open. A gust of wind rushed through, carrying with it the anguished wails of the spirits as they were freed from their prison. Nairima's form began to fade, her curse lifted at last. Amina staggered out of the baobab, the whispers gone, replaced by an eerie silence. The village would be safe now, but Amina knew she would never be the same. The spirits had spoken to her, their pain etched into her soul forever. And as she walked away from the tree, the faintest of whispers lingered in the air. Soft, distant, but unmistakable. The baobab would never forget.